Hi everyone, my name is David, and over the next few minutes I'm going to prove to you that the size of the Earth, the world we stand upon, the equatorial circumference of it, was not determined by the physical laws of the universe alone, but also by an input of purposeful design. There was an intelligence at work forming its size. This intelligence has also used the dimensions of the Earth to draw our attention to the land of Israel and its re-establishment as a Jewish nation. There are two separate elements to my proof. The first is to prime your imagination to accept the likely truth that this so-called designer of the world uses primitive and simple numerical concepts to reveal himself to us. I'm going to show you that God's name is more meaningful than just to serve as an identifier of person. This particular extra meaning his name carries could not be in the form of anything more primitive, primal and eternal. This carrier of extra meaning is what Brian Greene, an eminent scientist, says is the most beautiful of all mathematical equations. You can view his thoughts on this equation on YouTube. On this board is the full title of his video. I recommend that after this video you watch his video in order to fully appreciate the aptness of the connections I'm making. God the prime mover and number the prime moved. The second element of my proof will speak for itself and is the heart of what this video is about. There is meaning in the size of our planet. And this meaning points to 1, a designer, and 2, one of the most important prophecies in the Holy Bible. Here goes with element 1 of 2. According to Wikipedia, the word Elohim is used in the Hebrew Bible. Quoting part of the Wikipedia definition for Elohim, it says, it usually takes a singular verb and refers to a single deity. In my own words, a single God. As you can see here on the backboard, I have written his name down in a format that uses both uppercase and lowercase letters. Before I start to rearrange this Hebrew name for God, I ask that you allow God a little slack and let him replace the letter M with the closest resembling lowercase letter to it in the Greek alphabet, which is pi. Okay? It's important that you realise at this point that many mathematical symbols are taken from the Greek alphabet, and choosing from its lowercase letters, the letter pi has the closest resemblance to the lowercase letter M in our alphabet. This move will require some faith in order for you to accept the view I am submitting as element 1 of my proof by appeal to common sense. Cut. As you can see here, there is a one-to-one relationship with the elements in the name for God and the elements in this special equation. E comes from there. I comes from there. Pi comes from there. The equals come from the two pillars of the H. The 0 comes from the O. The minus comes from the bar of the H. And the 1 comes from the L. Note that this equation incorporates 7 unique and very primal ideas. The value E, the heart of the geometric growth. The complex number I, which create the spirals in nature. The ratio pi, which we're all probably familiar with. The concept of subtraction. The concept of equality. The concept of nothing. And the concept of 1. All these 7 concepts, along with a few others, serve as platforms upon which our physical universe stands upon. And these 7 ideas are brought together in one single beautiful mathematical equation that appears to be emanating from God's name. Okay. Now to element 2 of my proof by common sense and the heart of the matter. This rectangle here is what the size of it, the dimensions of it, is what we call the golden ratio. It's a special ratio. You can look it up, Wikipedia or whatever, and inform yourself as to how special that is. But anyway, if you was to take half the perimeter of the golden ratio, it amounts to this value, 2.618, and this is to 11 decimal places. If you then take, if the radius of this circle is a single unit 1, then the area of that circle is pi, the value pi. If you take 1/6 of the section of the value pi out of the pi, you end up with a value, which is this value here to 11 decimal places. If you subtract the lower one from the top one, so we're subtracting this part of the pi from half the perimeter of the golden ratio, we get this figure here to 11 decimal places. Well, what I'll do is I'll bring that down, this figure here down, and I'll drop the 11 out of it, just here. Okay, so and we'll leave that for now. That 11 eventually is going to represent November, the 11th month. Now, if we come over here and we turn this value basically upside down, by dividing it into 1, we're getting the inverse of this value, the upside down value, is a way you can look at it. Okay, so if we divide this value that we got from doing this calculation on them geometric shapes, okay, and we divide it into 1, so we get the upside down value, we get this number here. If we take 29 out of that number, we end up with this value here in red. Now, the 29 we've taken out will drop down here, and that's going to represent a particular day. Okay? So, what we're actually left with is a value here, which is, if you look up Wikipedia, this value here is 40,075 miles. Sorry, 40,075 kilometres. Okay, and that is defined in Wikipedia is the equatorial circumference of the Earth is exactly 40,075 kilometres round. Also, if you take this value here, sorry, after we drop the 29 out of it, this value here is exactly, as defined by Wikipedia, the measurement of the equatorial circumference of the Earth in miles, to the exact full mile, and that's to the exact full kilometre. So that's that. Now, so you say to yourself, well, what do we do with the number 11 and the number 29? Well, if we let 29 represent the day and 11 represent the month of November, on the 29th of November 1947, the United Nations General Assembly voted 33 to 13, with 10 abstentions and 1 absent, in favour of what they call the modified plan. This petition plan is to do with Israel becoming a nation. Well, basically, it's to do with Israel becoming Israel again, recognised officially as such by the world powers. Also, if you look to Wikipedia under the entry United Nations Petition Plan for Palestine, And under the subheading Final Vote, you'll find it says, on the 29th of November 1947, the United Nations General Assembly voted 33 to 13 with 10 abstentions and 1 absent in favour of a modified petition plan. This petition plan is to do with Israel becoming Israel again, recognised officially as such by world powers. It also says under that heading, on the 29th of November 1947, the UN General Assembly adopted the plan as Resolution 181 subsection 2 or 11. Also, it's interesting to note that the vote was due to be cast on the 26th of November, but was delayed 3 days and instead was cast on the 29th day of November, which is consistent with our calculations. I think it's important to mention that a main focal point of the Holy Bible is Israel and Jerusalem. So if God wanted to make a point using these geometric values of the earth, you would hardly be surprised that this point would shine a light on the most important place on the planet, Israel. Now, if you, like me, would say this is beyond coincidence, I would suggest, or I do hope now, that some of you doubters watching this video may at least begin to take Bible prophecies seriously, especially those pertaining to the times we are living in now. In my humble opinion, it would certainly be the right time for you to do so, as the world powers are becoming increasingly more dictatorial. It's my conviction that the beast of the book of Revelations will soon be identifiable in a person, and we all should know exactly where that is going to lead up to. If you don't, I suggest you make some inquiries. You wouldn't have to go far before someone will know. I now thank you for listening to me today, and my personal thoughts and prayers go out to each and every single one of you out there.